Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video that was meant for October, but just didn't have enough time. Been busy at work. Now, I've talked about this film a couple times. I even did a fan commentary on this, which is still up on my channel. And I'm going to continue to talk about this until we get a special edition Blu-ray of this. And considering Paramount owns it, that means never. But it deserves to be talked about because it's an underrated gem. You can find Q&A with the stars on YouTube. That's the best you can get for a special edition. And that is of April Fool's Day. A 1986 slasher film, which, if you know what I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know why it's weird to call it a slasher. Sort of a murder mystery with humor. Maybe that's a better way to describe it. Now, it's directed by Fred Walton, who directed the original When a Stranger Calls, which is a pretty good flick. Never saw the sequel. The remake is god-awful. The remake of this is even more god-awful. I believe I ranted on the remake of this long ago when I had like 10-15 minute time limit. So it was in like 2 parts. April Fool's Day came out in 1986. People felt cheated. They felt ripped off by the movie because it's Paramount who they were releasing the Friday the 13th films. Freddie Mancuso Jr. producer. He produced a lot of the Friday the 13th films. And there's certain stuff that happens that people felt cheated. But how they felt cheated, I loved. Ever since I was a kid, I've loved this movie. This is on a list of slasher films. This is always one of the tops of my list. One reason is the cast. This is a fantastic cast of people. You have Amy Steele, who I love, from Friday the 13th Part 2. I love her in that movie. I love her in this movie. Amy Steele, I'm a big fan of. Thomas F. Wilson, Biff from Back to the Future. He's in this film. He's very entertaining. He's a lot of fun. Clayton Rohner, who I remember from this TV show called G vs. E, also known as Good vs. Evil. And he was in this 80s film called Destroyer. Clayton Rohner's been in quite a few flicks. If you look up his name, I might have seen him in 1 or 2 things. He's very likable in this. You also have Deborah Foreman, who is in Waxwork, among other movies like Valley Girl. She's one of the stars in this movie. You also have, I can't believe I forgot his name. For some reason, I want to say first name was Ken. He was on this TV show, I believe it was called Super Force, from back in the day. He was also in the first Leprechaun movie, which that's not his fault. Ken Olandt as Rob, the boyfriend of Amy Steele's character. Deborah Foreman played Muffy. Thomas F. Wilson played Arch. Clayton Rohner played Chaz. You also have Griffin O'Neill. And yeah, Ken Olandt. He was in Summer School. That's right. I remember him now. He was the guy who always slept in class. And yeah, the TV show was on Super Force. You also have Jay Baker, Deborah Goodrich, Leah Pinsent. Really likable cast of people. It's one of those things where even if there's no mystery or anything going on about, it would still be a good movie because the cast, they're very fun. They seem like they really enjoy each other's company. When they're having fun, I'm having fun. They have some witty dialogue helped by Danilo Bach, who wrote the script. I might have fucked up his name, but there's no special edition to find out how his name is pronounced. Alright, you know what kind of movie you're getting humor-wise when it's video camera footage and you're thinking, okay, it's a woman who's saying all these fake things like, a Miss Pageant contestant would say, but then she goes, "And I fucked on the first date." And then cuts to Tom F. Wilson, another guy, and they're like, yeah, I fucked on the first date too." Clay Roner has a video camera, he's taping people, it's like, "Hey man, your fly's open, and your hostess Twinkie is showing." And the guy looks, he got faked out. When he looks back, Clay Roner like kisses her right on the forehead. You have Thomas F. Wilson it's a group of friends. They go to their friend Deborah Foreman's, her parents' house, which is on this secluded island. And it's around April Fool's Day, so when they get there, there's pranks being pulled on them. Thomas F. Wilson sits down in the chair, flips them over. They try to drink the glasses, and it tips and makes them spill water, exploding cigars. This trick with the light, when Ken Olandt turns off a light, and then this light turns on, then he turns this off, and another light turns on. Very good-natured. And then also some bit fucked up. They start finding these newspaper clippings of people dead in a car accident, or this one woman hears a tape recorder of a baby crying. Then you find out later she had an abortion, so these sort of psychological things going on. But they're still trying to keep the humor about Thomas F. Wilson's like, "Welcome to the lifestyles of the rich and undeserving. Actually, my job here is to bed as many women as possible." But again, it actually does a build-up of the characters. I mean, it's only an hour and 28-minute movie. It's a very short film. I thought it went by a fast pace. But the actors and the characters, that's what you want. You want likable characters and good actors. And this film, it's why it's gotten a cult following. Because you actually like the people, and you don't want anything bad to happen to them. Which is why the ending works, in my opinion. If these are all shitty characters, and they were characters you would see in a fucking Hatchet movie, then it's like, I do feel why you'd be more cheated with what happens. But pretty much, people start disappearing. They're wondering what's going on. They can't get a call off the island. They do get a call, and a cop's supposed to be coming. And they're keeping an eye on each other. And you start to find out more and more information about Deborah Foreman's character. The score is another strong point in this movie. Charles Bernstein, who did the score for the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Fantastic score. It's a very creepy score with a whistle motif. I can't even do it, but I don't know if the score ever got officially released. Once in a while, you can kind of find a piece of music online, but a score should have been officially released. It's a really solid, creepy score with the whistling motif throughout the film. Underrated score. Does that mean people talk about when they talk about the scores of horror films? This movie doesn't get mentioned a lot, but it should. And it plays on expectations. God forbid, considering so many people talk about how slasher films always do the same thing. They never do anything different. Granted, it's all about perspective and point of view. Just because you think it's good, with the difference they made, doesn't mean another person would. But in this point, I gotta go into this with spoilers. Granted, it's 1986, so it's not a new movie. But starting right now with spoilers, you find out the twist. The title tells you what the twist is. Because before, like I said, people were getting picked off one by one, but you saw no blood. They're all cut away. And of course, you're like, well, that sucks. Cutaway kills. But it makes sense in this instance. There's actually a reason. There's other films that there's no fucking reason why they're doing it. Here, there is an actual reason. And then either they find heads in a well, disembodied heads in a well. One point in time, Wilson's character gets caught upside down. There's a snake. Clay Roller's character, he's on the bed, and someone finds him, and there's blood on the crotch area, as if, perhaps. At one point, Amy Steele and Ken Olandt go into a bedroom, and there's blood all over the bed and the floor. They find someone hanging, by their neck. They find out more info about their Deborah Foreman, that she had a sister, a twin sister named Buffy. And the big twist you find out is it was all fake. Meaning Amy Steele's being chased by the killer, Deborah Foreman. She goes in and the other friends are there. And what you come to find out is that Deborah Foreman, this place, this house on this island, she's turning into sort of a murder mystery experience for people to come out and go through it. And this was a test run. And so when people got picked off, they were told, hey, play along. And they didn't know anything about it until they were picked off. And then they were told what was happening and then went along with it. While the characters who didn't know, they were supposed to try to solve the mystery. And you could say there's plot holes, but even Ken Olandt's character says, you know what, you could have been killed, a lot of stuff could have happened, and she's like, I know, I almost did with this one person, and, Thomas F. Wilson's character Arch, I'm sorry about the snake wasn't supposed to be there, but when it becomes official, it will not be as extreme. So this was sort of a lucky one-off extreme. So for future, I guess, shows at this place on the island, it'd be more, maintained and contained. But I thought that was an interesting idea. It was unique. It made sense with the title of the movie, with the motif of the movie, with the whole holiday of the movie. And again, because the characters are so likable, I'm fine with it. Because I'm glad at the end of the day, they didn't die. They're still at the end, they're having champagne to Mama told me not to come. And there's a makeup effects guy, and they're taking the heads and pouring drinks into the mouths of the heads. I know if you get the other DVD, on the back, they actually show a picture, sort of like behind where these words would be, of a deleted scene. Actually, that might not be it, because there is a scene where the dead body of a character is floating under the rafts, not rafts, but under the floorboards when Ken Olandt and Amy Steele are trying to make out. So maybe it's from that. But it might be from a different scene, because what happened, there was a different ending where the Griffin O'Neill character, you find out he's the brother of Deborah Foreman, and he would go crazy and try to kill her, but then he himself got killed. And to me, that would not have worked. It would have been one twist too many. It would have been counterproductive. It would have been a lame ending. I like the way this ends. Again, it makes it so unique, and because the characters are likable, I'm glad for it. And then before the end credits, one more trick is played, this time on Deborah Foreman's character. And even the last scene of the movie is a doll giving the audience a wink with that whistle. I can't do that whistle. That see, I can't do it. And even the end credits is a crazy song that says, "Too bad you're crazy. Too bad you're nutty as hell." I mean, the marketing hurt the film. The movie should have been marketed more as a fun, entertaining, like I don't want to say like Game Night was, that new film with Jason Bateman, exactly promoted like that, but more in that vein. Because it was promoted as My Bloody Valentine, Friday the 13th, and then people didn't get what they wanted. It's like they went to get a chicken, but they got a pizza. It's like, hey, I like both, but I wanted the chicken. And to some people, it's like, I wanted chicken, you gave me mashed potatoes. I didn't want the mashed potatoes. I want chicken. Popeye's chicken. And that hurt it. But yeah, I think it's an underrated gem. I know I'm repeating myself to the 15th power, but the characters are what make this film work. It's a short film. I actually get a little bit intrigued with the murder mystery of it. You know, the characters trying to figure out what's going on. They find these little dolls in the attic. There's this one, kind of the Felix the Cat. People might not even know who that is. It was a cat back in the day. It was a 90s cartoon, but they had a bunch of these clocks, black cat with eyes moving. Only this is a yellow cat. Maybe it's yellow because they didn't want to get sued or they didn't want to pay for the rights of Felix the Cat, so they just made it yellow and it would move its eyes. And earlier a painting was behind that. But then when they get to the attic, the painting, there's another set of eyes. And it's like, is it that cat clock again? No, it's a dead body. But it had some nice atmosphere in the third act. The score fits the film very well. Some very witty lines of dialogue. Again, these are people that would seem fun to hang out with. These are characters that would seem fun to talk to at the party. And, for people who think this is so illogical and far-fetched, if you think about that, remember that TV show Steer Tactics that was on Sci-Fi Channel? It was hosted by Shannon Doherty, then Stephen Baldwin, then Tracy Morgan. That's what this is, in a way. A very, again, even the characters say, extreme version, but it'd be an extreme version of Steer Tactics. So I don't find it as far-fetched as other people do, especially compared to other slasher films. And again, I know that's weird calling it a slasher film when technically no one does get slashed. But yet, I would rather watch this than any of the Hatchet films. The Hatchet films have buckets of gore that could flood your entire home. But that goes to show you, I love gore. But you know what I like more than gore? Characters. Likeable characters. That's why, to me, Hatchet, all of them can suck my nuts. And this film, I wish got a special edition Blu-ray. And the only reason it doesn't is because Paramount owns it, and Paramount doesn't do shit for their movies. And it's ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. This is why I hate Paramount. The many reasons why I hate Paramount. The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy doesn't have a Blu-ray. That's Paramount. The Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones, a William Friedkin film. The guy who did The Exorcist. Tommy Lee Jones, Benicio del Toro, The Hunted, great movie, doesn't have a Blu-ray. That's Paramount. I wish some other company would get the rights to this, because this deserves a Blu-ray so fucking badly. When pieces of shit like Final Exam and New Year's Evil get it, that's a bunch of horse shit. The New Year's Evil and Final Exam where nothing fucking happens. That movie does have killing in it, and less shit happens in that movie than in this movie. But yeah, that's April Fool's Day. Underrated gem. Deserves a lot more than it's gotten. Love the film. Gladly talk about it anytime, any day. It's a personal favorite of mine. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.